Quantum Kickflip is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Locally grown, community supported.
Previously on Quantum Kickflip.
I will take all of them.
And she looks at you and her eyes go just a little bit wide and she says, all of them?
Indeed. Do not worry. Kindred can afford it.
You guys being here is gonna get back to Operablum one way or another. I guess it's just up to you whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I am going to move the 3 tower factions into unstable relationship.
I have been awarded with this particular prize due to the fact that I am the most beautiful Daibokin.
With a huge tug, Viperkin yanks the Daibo Vice out of Brabley's hand. And you hear him say, Viperkin, data search to Cobrakin. Everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Kickflip, a Slugblaster actual play podcast. My name is Laena, I am your host and Slugmaster, and with me are 5 of my best and funniest friends in the whole world, who are going to introduce themselves to you now. We've been at DaiboCon lately, which has a lot of Daibokin, little animalistic buddies akin to Pokemon or Digimon. So what I want to know about you, my 5 best and funniest friends in the whole wide world, is if you had a Daibokin, what would it be?
Hi, my name is Michael Vetsch, and I'm playing Woldton, Wick, the Chill Playbook with the Robot Companion. And Laena, I made this character so I could live out the fantasy of having a crustacean friend float around with me all the time. Why would my answer be anything other than this?
I don't know, I thought there would be some player-character separation between Michael and Woldton, and I was a fool, a damn fool.
Laena, I only play characters who understand anime. There is no separation.
I should have known by now.
Hello, my name's Liam. I play Helix Pinnacle. He's the Smarts playbook with the hard light board. And my favorite animal personally is a tapir, sometimes referred to as a tapir, T-I-P-I-R. They're sort of little like pig guys, but they got a snoot like an elephant. And I love them. So I'd want one of those. And I think just as they data surge, they just bigger and bigger snouts.
Hi, I'm Glenna. I play Brinley Zirk. She is the Guts playbook, and she has the Gravity Blaster in the form of a gauntlet on her hand. And if I had a Daibokin, it would be a little fox friend.
Yep.
Ooh. I don't know what it would surge to. It would just be a little fox friend. It would be real cute.
Just gets poofier and poofier.
Yeah.
And more tails, to the point that you just turn into tails.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Robyn. I play Maeveline Xandross, the Grit playbook with the photonic jacket. And I grew up a little too early to get in on the Pokemon and Digimon craze. I was like just a little bit too old for it at the time. That's not true. I have a lot of peers that got very into it, but I felt like I was too old for it at the time. All this to say, my Daibokin would be like one of those Pokemon that's just like an inanimate object and not an animal, and it would be a stack of Pogs.
Hello, my name is David Ray, and I play Trev 4, who is the Heart playbook, and has the hyper-optic visor. And I think my Daibokin would be, and this is both me and Trev 4. This is like Michael's kind of situation where I am my character. And so it would start off as Don Knotts, the actor, just trying to break in. And then his next evolution would be Theodore from the Apple Dumpling Gang. And, he falling off the horse and everything. And then finally, his final evolution is Mr. Furley from Three's Company. And his main attack is just, shooting scarves out of his wrists. And, that's my Daibokin.
And as I mentioned, I'm Laena. I'm your host. And if a Daibokin is a reflection of like your favorite things, then my Daibokin would absolutely be like a tiny little elephant that's also kind of not really an inanimate object, and that it would be a teapot. as it's now reportee. And there's all sorts of ethical ramifications about whether you can drink tea from the Daibokin, but I'm here for the aesthetic, so... Anyway, speaking of Daibokin, speaking of Daibocon, y'all are at Daibocon. You're having a nice time, right?
Fantastic time, yes.
Yeah, it's been going pretty swell.
But things have gone just a little bit south following the panel that starred multi-league Daibokin champion, arguably greatest Daibokin trainer of all time, Olive Fraxinus. She said some words to a certain Brably that were a little bit hurtful, and it caused things to go sideways with him and his Daibokin, and everyone is caught in the mix now, so let's see if we can fix things. Let's play some Slugblaster.
Yeah!
Right.
The typical din of Daibocon, the chatter, the laughter, the occasional raised voice as someone calls out to a friend, is substituted for more desperate cacophony. People are yelling, shrieking, running as a gigantic indigo snake-like creature bursts into the main foyer of Popularia University. This, of course, is the recently surged Cobra-kin. Once a very disgruntled and put-off Viper-kin, but now he has gone rogue and is rampaging through Daibocon. Cobra-kin is shortly followed by Maeveline, Woldton, and Brably, and coming in at a perpendicular angle from the other side of the campus are Brinley, Helix, and Trev 4. You're joining up as things are starting to go haywire. But before we address this situation, there is a far more important and serious situation that we need to address. And that is that Brinley and Helix have reunited with Trev 4 prior to this rampage. Which means, Trev 4, you've given them their outfits. What do they look like right now?
So then, currently, as you're running into this main area, Helix is wearing a white doctor's coat from the waking pits, kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein kind of a thing, where like the buttons all go down like the left breast and down, and
Yeah, the collar's really high.
yeah, the collar's really high.
Yes.
Has several pockets, very handy to store all sorts of things, very practical, as Helix would want. Helix also has goggles that can be very much modified to include things like night vision. And then finally, underneath all of this, he is wearing these what is known as lava waders from Calorium, which would allow him to wander into the lava and he would be relatively okay. Very practical again. But these outfits don't really match. No one's ever worn this before, but at the same time, it seems to like just match and flow. And then, of course, Brinley, as she comes in, she has these short shorts, kind of like jean type of a thing, fishnets going down to her boots, and she has got across her face this mask from Vestige that's like around the edges of this face mask that covers her nose and her mouth and her chin. It's highlighted in kind of a glowing red that goes around it. And of course, she is wearing a shirt from Null. This kind of like this halter top style shirt from Null that across the front of it says Degeneration X. But because nobody in this in any of these realms, like, we are talking in English, but we're really translating Opera Ablum. They don't know what it says, so it's just like this foreign language, but it does say Degeneration X. and she looks hella cool as she comes through. Almost like a, Rhea Ripley style kind of a character, and I'll leave you to look up who that looks like. So
the 5 of you plus Bradley reunite as Cobrakin is making its way down the aisle at a fast pace, tail whipping, knocking over tables, thrashing side to side. People are running. It's pandemonium. But the 5 of you have a moment to reconnect.
Whoa, sick threads, everybody.
Oh, were we all changing? I missed the fashion montage.
That's all right. There appears to be a large snake monster that we should probably be dealing with instead.
Yeah, we got bigger scrudnarps to saute, gang. Bradley's little buddy there decided that it doesn't want to be his little buddy anymore, and it got bigger.
Yeah, it snagged the little guy's Dibo Vice, and somehow its data surged right through to a polished form all on its own.
It does look very shiny.
am I to understand that civilians dying randomly by a giant monster is a bad thing?
Yeah, Trev, come on, buddy. Yeah, yes, obviously.
I'm just saying that none of these are employees of the Kindred Corporation. Well, if this is important to us as a team, then I will make sure that people are protected. And Trevor immediately starts running off, jumps up, his legs snap back, turns into the rockets that send him forward, and he starts trying to, analyze the snake and everything to prevent any attacks that might come at civilians. So what I was going to offer is that I'm almost there to absorb failures to a certain degree. I want to invoke my team player ability, which is I mark style when I take or nope a slam for someone else.
Trev's kind of on Overwatch for any of our potential moves then?
That's right. Basically, I'm starting to go off on the defensive, heading out and trying to protect as many people as possible, particularly the crowd, but if applicable, any of my teammates.
I think Helix is going to jump at the chance to wrestle this snake, because his whole impetus to coming to DaiboCon was to do a big stunt with a Zed, like his favorite fussed stunt guys, Moogie and Shart. And, obviously the mixed results on the loop-the-loop stunt, so I think he's looking for another win, because he can tell the vibes are weird. So yeah, the first chance Helix can get to basically wrestle this thing, he's gonna take it, but specifically he wants this filmed. I'd almost think he would advocate for not making this our problem if there wasn't an opportunity to film him doing animal-based or Daibokin-based stunts with a Zed.
I think Maeve's going into damage control mode. I think she sees that glimmer in Helix's eye and knows that he's about to engage. So she's going to use her hard light upscaling on her jacket to generate some useful hard light ornaments. And I think it's just she's trying to fence this thing in. She's trying to make a big hard light wall essentially to stop it from rampaging any further down the hallway. So she's on containment with her hard light upscaling.
Bryn is going to level her gravity blaster, very Iron Man, with her hand outstretched, ready to damage things at a distance with a blast of crushing force, or pummel stuff with non-lethal grav torrents.
Oh, Bradley, it looks like it got your board, huh? When it took the Dibo Vice, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know how much good I'm gonna be here.
Well, here, you hop on the board with me. Scampy will help you balance, and let's go see if we can get you your Dibo Vice and your friend back.
Bradley gives you this, very grateful look. He's obviously very overwhelmed by everything that's going on. And he does exactly as you say. As he gets up, he says, I think if we can just, maybe tire him out or something, and maybe he'll go back to Adderkin, and then it'll at least stop all of this.
Right. If we can expand that energy potential, it'll desurge and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. It's the 5 of you against this Cobrakin. Your goal is to expend its energy to get it to revert back to Adderkin and stop this rampage. So we're going to set up a pretty straightforward, if somewhat long, progress track of Cobrakin.
Damn.
Ooh.
1 track for all of you. Once you mark all of the spots on this track, Cobrakin will revert and the threat will effectively be neutralized.
I mean, it's a pretty long looking track, but we got to remember that, we can use kick to knock off more than one letter. So, and I mean, everyone's still got plenty of extra resources. No one burned all of their kick and their boost on anything dumb earlier in the episode. So I think we're good to go. I think we'll have this in no time.
Like pizza or hats.
Yeah. Y'all are fresh-faced slugblasters with many a resource and empty slam box at your disposal. I'm sure.
So Maeve's going to, as I said, kind of work on crowd control as well, using her hard light upscaling. And I think to do that, she needs to get on the other side of this thing. It was kind of rampaging away from them. Cobrakin was like tearing up the hallway. So I'm going to roll to use my hard light upscaling. But on the way, I want to do a trick in that I want to do a little like, I'm having to maneuver around Cobrakin and get on the other side of him. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a little kickflip in the process.
Nice.
I will mark one kick from my jacket to make this extra effective at containing Cobrakin. And I'm going to go ahead and mark, I'm going to use both of my remaining D6s to try and pull this off, because I want this to work. So we're rolling with 3d6 about it. We got a 4 is the highest.
So you are going to keep Cobrakin contained within this general area. Describe this action.
I think she kicks off on her hoverboard and gets down low, tries to sort of stay out of Cobrakin's line of sight. But I think it's moving so irrationally and kind of thrashing back and forth across the hall that at a certain point, in order to get on the other side of it, she needs to sort of jump a section of its long, snaky torso. And I don't think I've ever described Maeve's hoverboard before. So as she's doing this, we see, the camera's at a low angle, and we see as she pulls the bottom of the board up and does like a grab, the design on the underside. It's a little hard to see because it is mostly just scrapes and scratches. It is very, very worn down and weathered from a lot of tricks and a lot of grinds and just a lot of use over the years. But it's got sort of a racing stripe at a bit of an askew angle running the length of the board. I think it's actually two stripes side by side. Let's say we got a mint green and a sort of fuchsia going on. And in the exact center of her board, they sort of do almost like a heartbeat monitor. They do like a little spike up, spike down, spike back up to form almost like two mashed together M's in the middle of her board. Anyway, she pulls this sick kickflip, gets on the other side, and then proceeds to do the thing she was actually trying to do, which is employ the hard light upscaling to generate a giant golden wall of hard light energy.
So you marked a kick, so that marks 2 spots off the progress track. And you did a trick, so please mark a style.
Yeah.
For the problem here, I'm going to kind of 2-prong it because it's supposed to be worse. On your end, Maeve, I'm going to say that you do manage to jump over Cobrakin, but maybe you misjudged the swing of its tail.
Uh-oh.
And it's basically going to swing into you for a slam of clubbed.
Sure.
And making the problem worse, I'm actually going to throw it over to Trev 4. Maeve sets up this wall, which, the way I see it, this is sort of like a bigger hallway lobby type space that then branches out into smaller hallways on either side. And Maeve's wall is basically blocking off the lobby from where it would branch off into a smaller hallway. Cobrakin can't get past, but you're the one who notices this because you're trying to do some crowd control here. There are some people who were about to run down that hallway that are now cut off by this hard light wall. And Cobrakin is bearing down on them. What do you do?
So what I was thinking, if I got my rocket knees kind of going and I'm flowing, I can't. There's too many people to specifically rescue. So I realize I'm going to probably have to go up and confront Cobrakin itself. So I want to, like, as I'm flying along and as the mouth of Cobrakin coming in, I want to try to, like, grab it just by the lower part of its jaw and try to, like, fly up.
Wow.
And try to, like, push it up. Of course, that's probably going to slam me against the wall or something like that, but, like, I want to pull it fully away from the individuals below, but like it's scraping me across the wall that's just above the door.
Okay, let's get a roll to see how this goes for you.
Oh no!
What do you mean I'm making you roll to do a thing?
No.
Nothing.
So I'm going to add a d6 from my attitude to this. I got a 4 on that.
Okay, so that's a mixed success. I'm gonna count this towards the Cobrakin track, because now it's trying to, like, wrestle you in its jaws. Let's give you the slam of scraped. You basically had it set up, right? Cobrakin is pressing you against the wall, and, like, you sliding on the wall and Cobrakin's teeth sort of sinking into you. Your outer chassis is just getting scraped to shit, so it's the scraped slam.
Maeve, question. How high is this wall?
Ooh, that's probably a thing I should check with the GM, because I just sort of made it like, it's a big wall, and I realized that, like, there are limits to this technology. Maybe like a 10 by 10 flat surface? Is that too big?
You know what? Here's the compromise that I'm going to make, because I do like this offer. I do think this is pretty big for your hardlight upscaling to pull off. So it's big. It's temporary.
And I'm picturing that it probably doesn't go all the way to either wall or the ceiling. Like,
I could see it taking up a big space in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, because we had described that we were entering perpendicular to you. Would it make sense that I am close to the wall?
I think so.
Cool. I'm gonna incorporate it into a trick.
sweet.
Sick.
The main thrust of what I want to do is use my 0-point energy to blast Cobrakin. I will use a d6 from my attitude. I get 1d6 when I do a trick. So I'm going to roll 3d6 and attempt a trick. That's a 6.
Amazing! Show me this trick.
Brinley kicks off toward the wall, uses her gravity gauntlet to grappling hook herself to the top of the wall and pull herself up, and does a grind along the top, and then, like she's doing an old-fashioned rail shooter, like, phew, 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 just fires off some non-lethal grav torrents at Cobrakin.
These shots fully sink in to Cobrakin, and it sort of, like, stops and, like, shakes it off, and it says in this, like, low, serpentine, booming voice, "Get out of my way!" And it whips around, kind of knocks over a couple more things, more incidentally. You're rolling a 6, right? So I'm not giving you a lot of trouble. People are getting up the stairs and getting out of the way. Thanks to Trev 4's actions, you know, no person is in immediate danger here. And it just seems like Cobrakin's getting mad and, like, flailing about and maybe targeting you guys a little bit more, but not in a things are dire way, more you're containing him. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
All right. This progress track is halfway through. Helix, you're up.
This is what I've been waiting for. The loop was fun, but this is perfect. Helix is going to do a trick, first of all, so check it.
Okay.
Vux, yeah, this is the moment I've been waiting for. I can't believe we get to do this. Where did Brably go? We, like, sent him in a corner, essentially?
Brably is with Woltz.
Brably, buddy, I'm going to need your help with this one. Hold this. And he's going to toss his phone to Brably with it already streaming.
I'll also say that the people who are safely up on the balcony absolutely have their phones pointed at this.
Good to know, but that my doing a trick is the recording it, or the streaming it, because I want to look right at the camera. Normally, I think I was going to do, like, a rodeo thing, but I've got this amazing scientist outfit that I want to honor. So he's going to check himself. Hello, and this is Professor Helix. He's not great at doing a German null accent, but this is Professor Helix, and this is an incredible specimen, and we are going to capture it. This is Cobra Specimen Collection moment. Ja. I can do a better German accent. That's Helix's. And he is going to he's going to do a stunt, and very much in the style of the Fust guys. He's going to wrestle his giant snake. I'm going to use my energy lattice to reform it into custom shapes, including tools, hand weapons, and other useful objects. It's going to get real long and thin like a snake hook. And he is going to try to hook Cobrakin around the neck and then using a kick. So I'm going to add a kick to this from my attitude. If it is successful, the kick is to pin it to the ground. So once he's got the hook around his neck, he's going to jump on his board to try to pin Adderkin's neck to the ground.
Okay, gotcha. Wow.
And then I'm going to add an extra die from my attitude as well, just to really, because I'm trying to do this. So rolling with 2 dice, 1 kick. 2 ones.
Oh no!
Again, 2 ones.
Oh my god.
It's not funny this time. Now I'm pissed.
My boy.
Last episode, hilarious. Great raising the stakes. This time, I am chapped.
I will give you this. In your Smarts playbook, it does say under your attitude, if you fail, refill any attitude you just spent. You learn from failure, so please take back your d6 and your kick.
You know what? I'm actually going to use another part of my Smarts playbook.
Oh.
The know-how. Biology.
Okay.
And I think, it says if knowing biology would help you with this action, you can mark 1 trouble and upgrade a 1 to 3 result to a 4 to 5 result.
All right, put the d6 in the kickback then. One or the other, fam.
4 to 5, and I think what he does, he tries to hook it, it's unsuccessful, and I actually did Google this while you guys were doing your other bits. You can there's a thing called a snake hook, which is a hook, and there's a thing called a snake tong, which is like tongs, like little pincers. And so I think the hook doesn't work, and he's like, this thing's pretty big, I think I'm gonna need a tong, and then reforms the board to make 2 sort of pincery tongs.
Okay.
Maybe there's an aspect of sort of like the cobra's hood is too wide for the hook shape to get around.
Yeah. So now it is a mixed success. You do have a problem. It needs to be worse. Because you've succeeded, feel free to mark your style from doing your trick.
Oh, this does not look like it would work. We need to adapt and reconfigure.
And you're looking into the camera as you say this. And from the other side, anyone who's watching the stream is going to see whoever's holding the phone get abruptly knocked, and then the feed cuts off. You see Cobrakin thrash and hit Wolt and Brably for a super slam.
A super slam, you say?
Yeah, Wolt is mega thrashed.
Trev has set up that he's ready to absorb some slams on people's behalf, so this might be the time when his
This might be,
ability
I think,
kicks in.
better than me noping it. I'll just let... and then also, I've got the slam reckless, so this was pretty reckless. My hubris and my bit has caused Brably and Wolt, so...
It may or may not have informed your consequence.
Precisely. So I think that's why I'm in the spirit of that, I'm not going to nope it.
Yeah, and this is where I would like to try to nope it if I can.
What's your thoughts, Wolt?
Yeah, I was also okay taking it. I think there's some narratively interesting stuff where Helix is okay trying the stunts because he gets hurt. But then if other people get hurt because of the stunts he tries, I don't know, there's maybe something to play with there, but also I don't know.
And also it's a super slam, so maybe Trev nopes your super, but not your slam.
Ooh, that could be, yeah.
Also, Brably is in the line of fire as well, right?
Yeah, but Brably doesn't have a character sheet. He's gonna be fine.
Later at Brably's funeral. No.
Oh, no. I don't have an open slam box to be sad about a dead Brably.
Laena, so after I got kind of like scraped up or whatever, it might be feasible that, I dropped to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that, Cobrakin's kind of thrashing about. I can't save everybody, but I'm wondering if I could, charge over, grab Brably, maybe say something over to Wolt and say, Wolt, please, take cover. And I wrap my arms around Brably and kind of tumble as I'm getting out of the way. So I'm hoping that, maybe that acts as a nope.
Okay, yeah. Are you noping the entire mega thrashed slam or just the mega?
Could I take away all of it?
For 4 trouble, you could, if that's cool with Wolt.
Sure.
Oh yeah, here I go. I'll take the 4 trouble, and so if anything, it's like I'm wrapping my one arm around Brably, grabbing Wolt with my free hand, and try to pull him out of the way and escaping all the thrashing.
Yeah, you managed to basically get away in the nick of time. And maybe you get a little bit knocked, Trev.
Sure.
But because you don't have internal organs the same way these operablins do, it, like, rattles your hard drive a little bit, but is not nearly as damaging as a slam would be.
But it's reflected in all the trouble I just took.
Yes, please mark 4 trouble. How you doing on trouble, buddy? Ooh, 2 away.
I did. Oh boy, I am taking a lot.
That'll be a tight disaster roll.
Now might not be the worst time to remind everybody, if you mark your last trouble box, disaster strikes.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a slam and you don't have a slam box for it, disaster strikes.
Yes, that fair.
So some of y'all are a little close to disaster.
So with my team player ability, that was a big old nope I put out there. Is that 1 style or is that 2 style?
I feel like it would be 1, but I'm feeling generous. You can take 2 style, Trev.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Trev. That was a close one. Here, Bradley, you and Scamp stay behind. I'm gonna try and make a move.
Be careful!
And with this, Wolt stands up, and he's gonna spin around that Kindred Daibokin baseball cap that he got from Trev from last time. He's gonna do the classic spin it around so it's backwards on his head now. And with this move, I think he's going to sort of make a rush on his board over towards where Helix has the head of Cobrakin pinned down.
Yeah.
And the thought here is going to be that Wolt's going to try riding up from the head down the rest of Cobrakin's body, shooting with his twin ray guns the whole way. Just trying to do that last bit of damage to take out its energy reserves.
Michael using ray guns. Stop the presses. Let's get that roll.
Yeah. Yeah, that roll.
You have no turbo, I see.
I do not. But as the chill with my attitude, I always start off with the 2d6. And am I right that we still have that last Gold Star Disaster kick lying around?
We got one more.
I am going to mark that. So this will be 2d6 with a kick.
I don't have more resources to give you, but I want this to work and I want to give you a die. Can I take a dare to help Wolt with this and give him a die?
Yeah, fam.
Cool. I think now that Helix has Cobrakin pinned with this hook, Maeve realizes that she doesn't need to keep this wall in place anymore to, like, herd Cobrakin and stop it from rampaging, and is about to dispel it so that she can come be useful, but sees Wolt going for this maneuver, and instead of dispelling it, she's going to angle it down and create a ramp for him to get some air off of to get up onto Cobrakin's back.
Yes. Mark your trouble and we'll take a d6.
Hell yeah. Okay. Then it will be 3d6 and a kick. That's a 5.
Mixed success.
Whew.
Wolt tears away on his board. He pulls the rings off his wrists and sort of expands them into their twin zero-beam pistol forms. And he's racing toward this sort of angled wall and goes off Maeve's makeshift ramp here up onto the back of Cobrakin. And as it's sort of thrashing to and fro, he kind of like crouches onto his board. It's in the preparation for like if he was trying to then get air with it later, but the whole time down the length, he's just in this crouch, so his pistols are right down on the surface of the Daibokin, and he's just shooting, unloading. I believe I described them before as like almost like globs of mercury. He's just firing these beams all along the back as he rides up Cobrakin.
Please mark a style. I don't think you said you were doing a trick, but this is so cool that please do this.
Okay. I won't say no.
And for your problem.
I mean, it'd be poetic if it was a slam, because Trev saved you from that previous slam, which means you have the empty box to take it.
I've got like a gag slam to offer you.
Yes. What's this gag slam?
So the whole point of this plan was to reduce Cobrakin's energy so it would desurge out of this state.
Yep.
So I'm almost wondering if like it, like, as it's taking all this damage, it thrashes, it gets free of the tongs, and it's loose, and it then goes to do a big lunge with a huge giant cobra mouth. And then there's a flash of light, and suddenly it's back down in Adderkin form, just, like, clamped onto my shoulder.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, it turns around exactly as you described, lunges forward, and you take the slam of Little Nip.
Oh, it looks like the Cobrakin has shrunk down and has now nipped our friend Woldton on the little shoulder. Woldton, how do you feel?
Oh, I was not expecting a hologram to have venom. How does it have venom?
And then Helix drops the bit as he kind of like stops you from like tipping over. He's like, whoa, okay, easy.
You know what? This has been a bit of an upheaval, and I feel like this might be an appropriate time for this. As the dust settles, let's get your disaster rolls. So yes, every empty trouble box, you get a d6. So for Maeve, that's 5. Helix is 3. Brinley is 5. Trev is 2. And Wolt is 4. Good luck.
I roll a 5.
Okay. Do we have any 6s?
I got a 6.
I got a 6.
I got 2 6s.
6, 6, and 6. Yeah, Helix, dang it. I wanted to get you good for being such
overdue.
a jerk this run. But nah, easy street. The 3 of you get to mark 1 style.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Helix continues to learn no lessons. Helix, a couple people from the balcony overhead like whistle and laugh and applaud your little scientist character. They love it. You've learned nothing. Everyone loves you. Oh, I'm loving this, actually. So Maeve and Bryn also mark a style. Trev, you got a 5. Wolt, what was your roll?
Of my 4 dice, I got 3, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, no!
Holy shit! The dust settles on a much more disheveled Daibokon. Tables have been overturned, merch is strewn about. People are slowly starting to emerge from the side hallways and the balconies from which they have stayed out of the way of this rampaging Cobrakin. Brably rushes forward and picks up the Daibo Vice that's on the floor, and in front of him is a little blue snake with little yellow eyes, maybe about 1.5 feet long. And he says, Adderkin! And Adderkin goes, And Brably says, hey, it's okay, buddy. Look, I'm gonna be a better Daibokon trainer for you, okay? And guys, thank you so much for helping me. Thanks, Woldton. Woldton? And all of you turn to look at Woldton, and he made an offhanded comment about how Adderkin was somehow venomous. Maybe a little bit of Cobrakin's power was just seeping through at the last minute, but he looks not good. He is pale. You can see already that the bite is starting to get infected, and he sort of flops to the ground. And Brably runs up and goes, Woldton!
Maeve also runs over and tries to sort of catch Woldton and support him. Well, buddy, hey, and she's waving 2 of her 4 hands in front of his face, trying to get his attention. Hey, stay with me, buddy.
That's cold.
Trev 4 also comes over and tries to analyze and try to figure out what's going on with Woldton.
Is there like a first aid tent or something?
Helix looks around. He's like, "Is it me? Am I the smartest one here to deal with this?"
Yeah, man, you gonna make me say it? This is your thing. You're the smart one.
Yeah. Oh, right. And this is also maybe my fault.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just tense. He doesn't look good.
Everybody, wait. The festival's almost over. Don't miss the rest of the con. Just because I'm a little upset on inside.
It seems that, according to my realmware lens, that he's been poisoned. But do not worry, I do know that back in Operablum, we'd be able to treat this. And I can also detect a thin zone to be able to get back to Operablum, no problem. I'm just going to pump him full of this euphorophil to get him through to the other side. And Trev 4, without even asking permission, his a hand opens up and there's a needle that kind of juts out from his palm and just jabs it into Woldton and fills him with euphorophil, which immediately makes him feel great.
Actually, Laena, can I pitch that if I've suddenly been stabbed with a needle out of nowhere?
Yep, we're on the same page. This euphorophil is going to be administered, and it is going to create all of these wonderful feelings that you were describing, Trev, for, but it is going to be in pretty sharp contrast to what comes next. Your medical analysis of Wolt also revealed something that I don't think Trev 4 has really had to deal with very much before, in that it feels like he's desaturating, like his essence is sort of being unraveled a little bit, and not all of him is here.
Oh.
And as you stab Wolt, this sudden shock of pain tips over the edge, and with a upsetting pop, Wolt is gone.
Oh no!
Helix grabs Trev 4 by what would be the collar, but it's just a weird access handle. For opening the hood, kind of. He just grabs him. He's like, "What did you do? Why did you make him peel back?"
Yeah, Maeve punches Trev, and I think it doesn't do anything to Trev and probably just hurts Maeve's hand, but she fully pulls her fist back and two fists, clocks him with both fists, double fist punch.
And of course, Trev 4 does not understand what peel back is, does not understand that this would be a crisis, because normally, in normal circumstances in Operablum, that would just make him feel okay, so you can get him to the hospital or whatever. Please, I do not understand what peel back is. Does that mean I disintegrated him? I do believe that my euphorophil is not expired yet.
Jesus.
You believe? You don't know for sure?
Let me double check. It's fine. Yes, it is up to date.
Double check after you shoot him up with it.
Trev, you've never heard of peel back? It's when you get snapped back to your own dimension.
Oh no. And we are not in our own dimension. This would be a problem.
Yeah, he's back on Operablum and jacked up on whatever you pumped him full of.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Well, of course he doesn't know what peel back is. He's a fucking robot. Does he even have a connection to his own plane? He doesn't have a soul. He doesn't know anything. We gotta go. And I think Maeve doesn't realize how harsh and mean that is in the moment, but she is furious at Trev right now.
And Trev 4 is taking all this information in and is trying to process what is the next action to take, because this is so beyond his programming. Well, I guess the first thing that comes to is that because I've been installed with a realmware lens, it acts as a space-time ampermeter as well, which is what we did not have on previous runs.
Yeah.
So Trev 4 starts analyzing, scanning, and see where I might be able to find one of those, and tries to go towards the closest portal back home.
Trev, you get us out of here now. We need to go check on him.
As the four of you are figuring out what needs to happen next and how you're going to get out of Popularia and get back home to check on your friend, Brabley, a little bit off to the side, reaches down and picks up a Dibovice. But he had already picked up the Dibovice that was for Adderkin.
Oh.
Did Waltz leave Scampykin behind?
Looks like it. Can I hitch a ride?
Yeah, buddy.
Of course, Bradley.
Laena, do I find a way out from here?
Yes. I'm gonna say that your path home is easy breezy. You find a one-way portal that takes you to Prismatia. From there, it is no problem to find the two-way portal that's gonna spit you out back in Trinity Municipark. I actually want to jump to Wolt very quickly, because his path was not so easy. As has been alluded to, and for those listeners who have been following Quantum Kickflip and who are familiar with the game Slugblaster, everyone has a tether to their home plane. And it acts as a bit of a safety net in that even if you get in a lot of trouble outside of your home, you always have a way of getting back. But it is by no means a pleasant way. Slugblasters have retired from peeling back because sometimes it can be that distressing. Wolt, you have the additional layer of being injected full of euphorophyll. So imagine you've been slammed through like 4 or 5 quantum walls, and you're getting thrown back, like teleporting but way out of order. Okay, first it's your atoms, then it's your hair follicles, then it's your blood, then it's the rest of you.
Oh no.
You know that feeling when you fall asleep and your arm's at a weird angle and you wake up and it's pins and needles and it's all numb? That, but it's your head.
And on the inside of the skull somehow?
Inside the skull, absolutely. It's not just your head, it's your brain.
Oh.
And you feel great. And I'm gonna throw in a little detail here, I think, with Peelback. I like the idea that it's a tether to a home, right? So you're gonna snap back to your home plane, but I think you may also snap back somewhere that you're familiar with. And there is no place more familiar. By the time you sort of get your senses back, Wolt, and are kind of aware of where you are and what's happened to you, you sort of right yourself and stand up, and you see a blinky red light, and you realize that you're standing in front of the answering machine in your kitchen.
Whoa. I think as Wolt's eyes come into focus and he sees the light, just like so many other times, he just kind of like staggers forward toward the machine, presses play, and the message sort of begins playing in the background, and he looks around, and the thing that's different about this time than it has been so many others is that, like, in recent years, he's always listened to these messages alone in the home, except for Scampykin beside him, and in not seeing Scampy, and then, like, Wolt takes a moment, he's not listening to any of the message playing, his ears are still ringing. If his ears are even in the right spot, he's patting all over. He doesn't feel the Daibo Vice. He doesn't see his board or anything. He as much calm had manifested in those few moments of realizing where he was. He's now very on edge and anxious, and he tries to make his way out to the front door. But as he tries to take a step out, just a second wave of all of this, the venom, the euphorophyll, the peelback, everything just knocks him right on his ass. Door open, and he's just laying in the front vestibule of the apartment, staring at the ceiling for a while.
So, Wolt, as a consequence for disaster striking, you have to mark a doom.
Mm-hmm.
Doom is a write-in now. So, what is the name of this doom that you have marked?
I kind of wanted to call it Trip to Daibocon, I think. For as many fantastic, wonderful things that happened throughout the trip, the end of it came in a way that he never expected it to happen. Fully peeling back, I think even the idea that, like, he was trying to go after Tetrachromacy to help shepherd him all safely to go to Daibocon before they were all part of a team together anyway, and, like, then something about going there together as one, and then him ending up peeling back. it will stay in his memories for a lot of different reasons.
Hello, Gold Star listeners, it's me, Laena, your Slugmaster Game Blaster, wanting to thank you so much for listening to this episode of Quantum Kickflip. If you've enjoyed the DaiboCon run, please leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice and tell your friends. It would mean the world to us. We are at Quantum Kickflip on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, so be sure to follow us for new episode updates, audiograms, and more. You can also subscribe to us on Patreon, where for just $5 a month, you can get early access to every new episode of Quantum Kickflip, as well as bi-weekly bonus content like interviews and bonus games. That's patreon.com/quantumkickflip. I'd like to thank our sponsors at the Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society, whose goal is to advocate, educate, and celebrate the media arts in Alberta. You can check them out at amaas.ca. And finally, we are proud members of the Alberta Podcast Network, who have a ton of amazing, locally made shows over at albertapodcastnetwork.com. We release Quantum Kickflip bi-weekly, so you can catch the first chapter of a brand new run on Wednesday, March 8th. We're going to get you folks back to the action, but first here's Trank Darvish with a word from our sponsors. What's up, Daibokin enthusiasts? It's me, Trank Darvish, here to tell you about the sponsors for Quantum Kickflip and DaiboCon. This episode of Quantum Kickflip is brought to you by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider in Alberta, offering internet, electricity, and natural gas with low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. If you switch providers, nothing changes about the delivery of these utilities to your home or business. If you have an existing contract, you're going to want to find out the terms before leaving. If you don't, then it's even easier to sign up for Park Power. You as the consumer have the choice of who to pay your bills to. Why not choose your friendly local utilities provider? Learn more at parkpower.ca. This episode of Quantum Kickflip is also brought to you by StoryHive, calling all new and emerging content creators in BC and Alberta. In case you haven't heard of StoryHive, they've been supporting storytellers in Western Canada since 2013. This year, they're celebrating their 10th anniversary with their biggest edition yet. The StoryHive Anniversary Documentary Edition is funding 80 short documentaries on any local story you are passionate about. You could get $20,000 in production funding, training, and mentorship and distribution on TELUS Optic TV and Stream Plus. If you live in BC or Alberta and you have an idea for a short documentary, now is the time to send in your pitch. Send in your application by February 28th at storyhive.com/apply. Your story, your narrative. And finally, this year's DaiboCon is brought to you by Scramcat, your one-stop slug shop, introducing the new Slipstream Nth Gear hoverboard. With a dynamic design that wicks away portal static and 5D regulation technology, you can slide through thin zones smoothly and with minimal quantum strain. Scramcat, skate on, sluggers. Alright, we need to do some cleanup. And there's actually going to be a little bit more cleanup than what might go in a conventional run, because I had moved a couple of factions to unstable at the start of this run. And the truth is, your actions at DaiboCon have impacted so many more factions than just the towers. So, I'm gonna go through those events now. The skate park with the big stunt. You're gonna get +2 with the heads, putting you at a +1 total. You've shown that you know your stuff and are serious about the sport of slug blasting. You were gonna get a -2 with BRB, putting you at -2. I think they feel threatened. BRB is quite a competitive crew, and this nobody rocketing to first place has shaken them. Also, they were not impressed by Helix's gimmicky stunt. You are also going to get a -2 with the normies for the same reason. Helix's stunt did not go over very well with the attendees of DaiboCon. Infinite Pizza, you're going to get -1 with the Wicks, putting you at an even 0. Wendy felt called out and humiliated for being directly associated with Daibokin. I think they had it in their heads that this would be a nice side hobby for Wolt and not his whole deal that would then affect their reputation.
Ooh.
I'm also going to give you -1 with the Thrashers. Burnouts, hipsters, artists, value aesthetic and vibe. They thought your aesthetic was dumb and your vibe was silly. So they're not here for it. I will, however, give you a +1 with the Freaks, Ravers, Crusties, Oddballs, value being themselves. Wolt was as himself as he could possibly get. So they dig that. DaiboCon, I think what I'm going to do here is give you a -1 with Scramcat. This is the sponsor that put on DaiboCon. And it's less that they have a direct beef with you and more that things went real sideways and got real disastrous at DaiboCon, and you're the closest people that they can blame for it. I am also going to give you a +1 with Fust, because the stuff that you did at DaiboCon was pretty sick. As for your towers, I think the way that I'm going to shake it out right now, I am going to put Lansden at a -2. Lansden is a tower that is focused on tradition, restoration, bringing things back to how they were. Lansden as a tower, their philosophy does not align very well with slugblasting. I don't think there's any particular goodwill at this point with Lansden based on this run. I'm going to put Webb at a +1. Helix was a fairly steadfast representative of Webb. There was some of that friction there, but I think things shook out a little bit in favor for Webb. I'm going to put Kindred at a +4.
Whoa.
Because Daibokin is Kindred-based. With the exception of the Arborist, everyone was wearing Kindred attire. And one of their robots won a beauty pageant.
Yeah, it is true.
Let's now jump to crew style. Shredders +3 on runs where you race, chase, or land big tricks. Ultranauts +3 on runs where you find a new world or deal with dimensional weirdness.
I think Shredders, but not Ultranauts, maybe?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I guess we dealt with dimensional weirdness in Wolt peeling back, but I don't know if that counts.
I don't know that we dealt with it in a good way, so
Yeah.
I'd also go along with Shredders, but not Ultranauts.
Go ahead and clear your slams. If you have any super slams, please clear the adjective. I think all of you have regular slams, so you should be good to go. Also, you may clear your attitude and your turbo to be used for next run. And I believe that is everything. So let's move on to some beats. Down a long hall and deep in the basement of Popularia University is its multiverse-renowned laboratory. It is a huge, semicircular chamber with white opaque walls, soft white fluorescent lighting, and silver railings and tables segmenting the room into individual workstations. On the flat side of the chamber is a sliding door labeled Testing Chamber. Would-be innovators tinker with their devices, filling the space with sounds of clattering metal and beeping computers and the smell of chemicals and heated metal. We find Trev 4 at a table on one side of the room. You are decked out in a neon pink lab coat, shiny black gloves, and black goggles, standard issue for any guest who is coming to use the laboratory. You're walled in on either side with shimmering plexiglass, and in front of you, a holographic computer display glows a gentle teal. All around you, on the table, in drawers underneath its surface, and in shelves tucked into the walls are wires, coils, tools, vials, beakers, burners, and everything you need to upgrade your gear. Trev 4, what are you doing here?
Trev 4 is trying to go on with his next task, which I will explain in a moment. But it's being distracted because these goggles on his head that is being forced upon him is messing with his own perceptors, which is like, his whole head. And so like this goggles on top of it, just like it's actually messing him up. And, and he pulls off the goggles and analyzes again and reasserts what his programming is telling him, which is since he has upset his teammates, which he can't fully comprehend. After all, he helped out Woldton to make sure that he was safe. He doesn't understand what this idea of peelback truly is, but clearly this is caused great distress in his team. So the team sent him here to try to get some upgrades for his team. And he starts looking at all these parts, all these special components and that he wouldn't normally have access to. And he starts analyzing them and trying to put together special upgrades that would help the people who he's clearly upset.
So you're on a solo mission in the lab of Popularia University, upgrading your friend's gear as penance?
Yes, to make sure that he is a dutiful kindred bot. Yes, it's of prime importance that he maintains this contract, this ongoing contract with Gold Star Disasters. So, yes.
Of course. It's all business.
It's all business.
So, quite a few of us here have wanted to roll in the lab beats, where you can roll for components to add mods to your gear. Narratively, this is in the form, of course, of Trev here at the lab doing these upgrades for you, but I'm going to get each of you to make your own rolls and spend your own style now. And then after all that, I'm going to check in with each of you and see what you got. All right, let's check in and see what everyone's upgrading. Let's start with Helix.
So yeah, obviously, Trev is bringing this back for us, but I rolled for a lens, a coil, and a gem. And those, that coil and that gem is going to get me a photon vent. Roll to create trails of semi-permanent, slightly brittle hard light behind you, which float in space until they fade. Big Tron motorcycle energy. It's the best one on the hard light board. So I got one of those. I got a photon vent now.
Amazing. Brinley, what are you getting?
I got a lens, 2 coils, and a gem. And I will spend the coil and the gem to get an endurance engine. Roll to coarsely lift, push, and pull things at a distance with the accuracy and power of a tractor.
Fantastic. And Maeveline.
I rolled twice, used 2 of my style. I got a lens and a coil. I have an existing lens on my sheet, and I can't do anything with that, so...
Oh no!
Next time, baby.
Come on, Trev.
Yeah, God damn it, Trev.
Here you go. I just got you some components.
I specifically asked for a gem. Come on, man. First Woldton and now this.
All right, looks like most of you got things that you wanted, which is good. Good for you. Good-ish job, Trev.
Thank you. So in addition to that being in the lab for everybody else, I really wanted to make it so that I did 3 being goods, so I can clear 3 style, which is what I have, and allowing me to clear 6 trouble, which is what I have. So I'm back to neutral, and everything is kosher. So even though people are look, let's be honest, that did not end up great for Trev at the end there, but he is a robot, and he knows how to make some good devices. So, I don't know. There you go. I figured that might get him in the clear. At least buy him some time, you know?
Yeah. One being good for each member that you are upgrading their devices.
And for Walt, it's just that I saved his life.
So yeah, I think we're coming into this in the Kindred Tower, in on floor 303. It's been roughly a shift, maybe a bit more than that, since we last saw Walt struggle at the doorway and fall back into the vestibule of his home. And even though we're on the level that Walt lives, we're not seeing his house just yet. We're sort of seeing the approach going through, and it's more of a nightlife shift right now. Again, all the neon that's always around here, bustling crowds, and we see someone else actually making their way, maneuvering about, headed toward Walt's place.
Yeah, and she is doing classic running, jumping, sliding, rolling, etc. And she has something small in one hand and like a smallish box in the other. But Bryn makes it to Walt's apartment and knocks on the door.
Ooh, I might actually mention, I think just before, as you come into view of the door, Walt is sitting on the front stoop. And he has clearly been sitting there chain smoking for the past shift.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Walt! Hey! Oh, that was really rough. I brought you back Scampy. Here. And I also got you, it's a Null snack called Pocky? I don't know. I thought you might like it.
And Walt, with just wide eyes, very bagged eyes, reaches out and takes the Daibo Vice from your hand and really clutches it in close to him. And he takes one last long drag off the... I guess they're not necessarily cigarettes. Are they actually canonically death sticks in operation?
Death sticks for sure, yeah.
Oh man, Walt just drags the ash right out of that last death stick he's got. And as he shakily breathes out and all the smoke escapes, he just says, "What happened?"
Well, you were fighting Cobrakin, and then he became really small, and then he bit you, and then, I don't know, you said something about venom, and then Trev had some medicine he wanted to give you, but he just jabbed you with it, and then you peeled back.
But why was it? Why did I go? And you guys were still there, and Scampy was there. I was just, there was the message, and I couldn't hear it, and then I've just been waiting.
I'm sorry,
Is everybody else okay?
Yeah, everyone's fine. We all went back through Prismatia and then through the park, so it took us a little while. And I had to pick up your snacks, so...
Right. Thank you. By this point, Walt had also sort of absentmindedly opened the package, and he's holding one of the Pocky as though it's another death stick. It's got a nice hand feel, I guess.
You're pretty fucked up, man.
What? No, me? No, you. I'm still Walt. You're old pen pal, right?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. It's just that we're not just talking over messages. We're in the space together, and we're out there doing things and having things go wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing him back.
You're welcome. Do you want me to stick around, or do you want to be alone?
I should probably take a look at all of Scamp's dailies, make sure I'm caught up. I was planning to save them for after the con or for some downtime there, but we never really got a moment.
Right.
I think as Bryn gets up and sort of starts to walk away, Walt says one more thing. I think we may need to take a bit of a break before the next run there.
Totally.
Tell me about this beat.
This beat is angst. Spend 2 trouble. You've got issues. Do we know why? How do they show? +1 slam. Sort of in the emotional realm. Pick a teammate who notices. And I'm a little torn here between either anxious or shaken.
Shaken is evocative.
I feel like anxious conveys like irrational worry to a degree, and I think Wolt's worries are very, very much justified by the events he has been through.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I'll go with the slam of shaken then, and then the teammate who notices being Bryn. And then maybe by the next time that everyone comes around, maybe Wolt's regains some of his chill, but we'll see how much of that veneer holds up and how much the fact that Brinley knows what's underneath.
Oh my guy.
We catch up with Maeve back at the Arborist Temple in Lansdowne Tower. Some time has passed here, and I think she is in just a foul mood, throws the door open, making a lot of noise, stomping around, throwing her jacket down. I think maybe Charla is there, like, reading a book or something, and pretty quickly is just, like gets up and makes an excuse to, like, I gotta go to the... got a lunch, bye, and just like does not want to be in the same room as all of this energy. Yeah. And Maeve is just kind of in her room fuming about how things ended. She was so close. This run was going so well. She shared that moment at Infinite Pizza with Woldton, felt like they were finally starting to get some time together, and then everything went wrong, and there was a monster, and there was a battle, and then Trev ruined everything. She takes a little comfort of like, well, at least Trev was visiting the lab for us, and he said he'd get me that gem, so at least there's that. But still. So she's just sort of fuming, and occasionally like doing the like punches her pillow with both fists, and just like is angry, trying to blow off some steam or let herself calm down before she has to interact with anyone. But maybe that's not her choice.
I suppose I won't need to knock. And you look over and see Forrester Tarmant standing in the open doorway. You had stormed in, and Charla just kind of left and didn't think to close the door behind her. And Tarmant is standing there, all 4 hands with steepled fingers in front of him.
What do you want, Tarmant? I'm not in the mood.
I'm not in the mood either, Maeveline. I don't like how you have been representing the Arborists lately, and you need to smarten up.
I didn't ask to represent the Arborists anywhere. I didn't ask to be an Arborist, all right? And if people are reading into what I'm doing and seeing things and making judgments about what the Arborists are up to, then maybe you shouldn't have me wearing this Vuxen robe.
Oh, then I suppose you want the alternative, then.
God. No, No, I don't.
This is a chance to make things better for yourself, Maeveline. And now you're going running along on different dimensions, in different towers when things are already as unstable as they are. You are putting our entire mission here at the Arborist Temple in jeopardy.
Well, I don't know what you want me to do. It's the only thing I'm good at. It's the only thing I have any fun doing. It's the only thing left for me, and you can't just take it away. I didn't ask to be your mascot. I didn't ask to be your emissary. I didn't ask for any of this.
I am not trying to cut you off. That is the antithesis of what the Arborists are about. But if you're going to do this, you need to be aware of the ripples you are making and the connections that are being forged. If you do this right, then you can bring some good and harmony to the multiverse. But I fear you're not thinking things through, and it will make things Far more discordant than you realize.
Why is any of it my problem? Why do I have to give a fucks about the multiverse? Why can't I just...
Do you want to be untethered?
You know I do.
Then it is your business. You can't take that on without understanding the responsibility that comes with it.
Fine. I understand. Are we done?
We're done. And Tarmit turns and walks away.
And Maeve kind of picks up the photonic jacket that she had thrown down upon first entering the room and just kind of holds it, doesn't put it on, but just sort of drapes it over herself, a little like a security blanket at this point, and is just sort of fidgeting with the hem and the inside of the cloak as she sits there and stews.
Tell me about this beat.
Yeah, that was final warning, the sort of escalation of the trouble at home that I had already done. So for 3 trouble, an argument, punishment, or ultimatum, what do they want, what don't they understand, what don't you, +1 doom.
What are we calling this doom?
Trying to think of a good way to succinctly summarize that exchange. I liked what Tarmit said about like the ripples and being aware of the impact.
Oblivious or myopic?
Ooh, myopic is good. What is the actual...
Myopic is like short-sighted. Like you're not really looking into the future or like looking at the bigger picture. It's sort of narrow-minded with a forward thrust.
I love that. Let's go with myopic.
Okay, there we go.
So we are in the virtual chat room. I think it is still just a gray box, but one of the walls has the logo that Maeve designed for Gold Star Disaster.
Nice.
On it. I think we'll slowly decorate it as we go, but that's where it is. And Brinley's avatar pops up. She has asked Helix to meet her online.
And Helix follows suit pretty quickly. He's coming because he think, we had a great run at Dibocon. What happened to Walt? Obviously a tragedy. But we got Brinley's cool trick. We got my cool trick. Then we got both of us, fighting Viperkin, Cobrakin, Snakekin. You know the one. So Helix is coming in overall positive, and thinks, it's time to debrief with his pal Brinley.
Helix, thank you for agreeing to meet me here under these circumstances.
Absolutely. This is, I'm glad we have this space, because all the towers are getting real tight about inter-tower communication.
I've noticed that too. Lansdowne's been really on edge.
Yeah, everyone at Webb is also giving me side eye, and really anyone else side eye, even the people with side eyes installed in the sides of their head. So I'm glad we had a chance to debrief, because other than what happened to Walt, that trip to Popularia was gridge. And I thank you for helping me with my stunt on the loop. That went great. It's getting a lot of action on our Gold Star Disaster page. And then, just like the stunts guys I've been really inspired by, I got to wrestle a giant cobra, and couldn't have done that without you either. So, obviously you beat me in that race we had. Well done, I suppose. But really just feeling pretty positive. The results I got from that run were exceptional. So
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah. Do you not? It's sort of hard to tell. We're digital avatars. Like I'd love to say I can see you frowning, but your avatar is just sort of existing. But the tone of your voice suggests
a frown emoji pops up over Brinley's avatar's head.
There it is. The ever useful utilitarian emoji.
Listen, you've really taken the whole stunts thing really far. And it always seems to be about making you look good, not the rest of the team.
I was about to say thank you, but then you said the thing about the team. What do you mean? I mean, I want us all to look good. I mean, If you look at the guys in the fuss crew, for example, you know, each one takes turns doing a stunt, and you know they kind of rip on each other, they kind of bully each other, set each other up for terrifying revelations. But you know, at the end of the day, they're a crew, and that's what makes that show so engaging. What do you mean making it all about me?
I mean, you were doing this even in Colorium. You peeled off to take a photo with some flamingos, and then you hurt your virtual Daibokin. You called it a tool. Do you think Trev is a tool? And then you put on this whole weird accent thing and made sure Brabley was filming you? Brabley the child?
It was the heat of the moment. I mean, you were busy grinding on Maeve's wall. He had free hands. What would you want me to do?
I don't know, maybe like not give a fucks about whether you're being filmed or not.
Yeah, but if I do a stunt and no one's around to see it, was it still truly cool?
Is it cool if everyone watches?
I think so. Especially my team, I thought.
Yeah, well.
What is this really about? Like
You're making it about you. And there's more of us on the team, okay? I crushed that loop-de-loop. I made it to the top of the board, beating out BRB, and all you care about is that you threw a Daibokin down and stomped on it?
It's not all I care about. I filmed you doing that. We wouldn't have the footage of you doing that if it wasn't for me whipping out my phone and streaming it. You're welcome.
You know what? I don't think this conversation's actually going to go anywhere. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry I asked.
You know, Webb makes a new chill pill. Maybe I'll send one to you via post host.
Fucks off.
Whatever. All about me. What's she talking about? I care about this team as much as her.
All right. Sounds like there were a few beats rolled up in that scene. Let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, the first one, like I said, was results. Helix thought he was here to talk about the results. It's one of my smarts beats. The idea shows promise. It's some kind of device, new trick, portaling breakthrough, or what? This would be a new trick, this idea that he's going to be a stunt guy, as opposed to just like a straight up Slugblaster. So Mark 1 Legacy, pick a teammate who is there when you test it. Well, golly, I gotta say that would be Brinley. So I get a legacy.
What are we calling your legacy?
I'm gonna call it Stunts with His Head.
Yes! What else was in that scene?
We saw Brinley's struggling scene. Your issues get worse. You act out, project, or try to solve the problem the wrong way. +1 doom.
All right. You get to clear 3 trouble. What are we calling this doom?
All about you.
Yeah. Love it.
And then, you know, Helix went in there with nothing but positivity and found out he had pissed off his friend. Still gonna have to, you know, chew on that. But he really didn't, he was oblivious. He didn't realize this is what he was doing to his friend Brinley. So we're gonna call that was the next smart beats after result, unintended consequences. The idea goes haywire, dominoes terribly, or gets into the wrong hands. What's the crew think? Obviously, Brinley, maybe even the rest of the crew. Who's to say? Anyway, unintended consequences. So I did 2 smarts beats, and Glenna, yours was an
angst beat.
Yeah, with unintended consequences, I mark a doom and a fracture.
Actually, it's 1 doom or 1 fracture.
Oh, I'll take the doom because I was like, damn, we already have a fracture. So I'll mark it.
Are you sure? It feels like Helix is pretty at odds with the rest of the crew.
Or at least Brinley. Yeah, okay, then it's a fracture. Okay, all right.
I feel like the crew is on pretty unstable footing, and a fracture is a pretty good mechanical reflection of that, personally.
Absolutely. What did you call that doom, Glenna?
All about you.
Let's call the fracture all about me.
Woof.
Oh, boy.
Woof indeed. That was fun though, Glenna. That was a
that was good.
Great scene.
So Trev 4 is returning to Kindred Tower and like getting onto the hyperlift that will take him back to the floor where the junk shop is. And he's trying to figure out a way of like how he's going to get all of these different parts and these upgrades to the different folk in his crew. And currently he's just kind of like, he has a big box, just like a cardboard box, and all of these parts are just hanging out of them. and he gets into the hyperlift, and he hits the button to get to his floor.
Now, Trev 4, you are not the only occupant of this hyperlift, which is maybe not unusual. Hyperlifts are I like to see them as a particularly popular and prevalent thing in Kindred. They like to pretend there's a lot of accessibility in the floors of the towers. Perhaps the interesting thing is, there's only one other person in the lift with you. Michael, can we get a description of this character?
This would be an Operablin of pretty average build, bald head, has some sort of black-framed, almost horn room glasses. He's in a dirtied up set of coveralls in the Kindred colors. And you can see across the front left chest of this coverall set, there's a little stitched name patch that says Lufts. And he's got in one hand a box of tools, another he's got some sort of device that he's got plugged into the lift. He sort of turns and looks over to Trev and mentions, I hope you don't mind, the lift might be a little slower today. I have to run some diagnostics on it on the ride right now.
That is quite okay. It is important to make sure that the lift runs with great efficiency.
Of course. Everything has to be shipshape here in Kindred.
Indeed. And I appreciate the work that you put in. And then Trev 4, takes the box of parts, shifts it over into his one arm, and then lifts his left hand with the thumb out, and it flips up, blip, and he puts a gold star onto this individual's kind of like, nameplate.
You're about to put it on the nameplate, and then you notice there's one already there.
Oh, it looks like you have done well in the past. Well, guess what? You get another one. And I put it right over top of that same sticker.
It perfectly fits over top. There's you can't tell that there are two.
Yeah.
They are so exactly in the same spot once it's adhered over top. Well, thank you very kindly. I'm sure whoever you're doing this work for with all the parts and doodads you've got, I'm sure you're doing good work for them too.
Oh, I would like to believe so. I've been helping out my friends for several days now, and they have appreciated me greatly. That's why they entrusted me with this.
Oh, you've been helping a group for a while now.
Yes, I've been working very hard. Laena?
Yeah.
Would I recognize this individual in any kind of capacity?
No.
Huh.
That's quite interesting. It's not often you see units from the repurposed robotics division going out from the same rentals over and over. Must be nice for whoever's got the hold on a unit like you. By the way, the name's Stanch. Didn't mention it before, and he reaches out with the hand that wasn't holding the device plugged into the hyperlift and offers to shake your hand.
Ah, yes. My name is Trevor. And I reach out and grab the hand and shake it in an appropriate way that's just there's 5 distinct shakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And now, Trev, here's what I'll say. You don't recognize him, you don't remember him, but you have absolutely done this before. It feels like the most vivid deja vu you've ever felt. And you don't feel deja vu.
And Trev 4 maybe takes a moment and is, I apologize. It seems that my ram is off kilter. I apologize. And I turn back around, holding the box of parts again. And then, after a moment, look back at him. Do you recognize who I am?
Well, I certainly must say I've seen Trev 4 units before.
Ah, yes, that must be it. And Trev 4, looks back forward.
The elevator dings, and the doors open.
Trev 4, walks out, and he turns around and says, thank you once again for the lovely conversation.
And the same to you, Trev. Take care. The doors to the lift slide shut.
All right, Trev, tell me about that beat.
That was from the Heartbeats, which is dalliance in particular. You begin a special relationship with a member of another faction, a teammate, or someone else. +1 legacy.
Clear your style. What do we want to call this legacy?
Oh boy. What is a good name for this one?
Maybe this is too vague and mysterious, but a job well done.
Job well done. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a couple guys working in an elevator, Everybody's working.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing their job.
And they're doing their jobs well.
Listeners, you need to know that we don't know what's going on here. I am riveted by this mystery. Who is this mysterious stanch man?
Who's to say? Who's to say?
So Bryn is at home in her apartment on her bed, and she is on the Gold Star Disaster. Is it still my page? Did my page go under?
I think they have a My Page and they have a Nexokin account.
Right.
Kind of like how you have a Facebook and an Instagram.
Yeah. She's on her phone. She's on the Gold Star Disaster account, and she is watching the footage of her going on the loop-the-loop. And it is one of the highest rated videos. It is really got a lot of likes, got a lot of love. She is just reliving that moment. And that's the beat.
Nice. I'll also say I think it's in compilation articles. It started to pop up as best up-and-comer crew tricks, best tricks of all time even. It shows up in there. Best tricks at Pop U's skate park, those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. You see it pop up independently of your feeds and other people's feeds. Publications are picking it up and throwing it into compilation article kind of things. Listicles. That's what I'm trying to say. What are you getting?
You earned it. A trophy, a trick named after you, a scholarship, a moment you'll cherish forever. +1 legacy.
Is the legacy called Loop, 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 Loop?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yay!
I'm gonna do a couple beats here, and I'm gonna lump them together. I'm actually gonna just run through them quick here. That it's gonna be a combination of being good and in the lab. So a bunch of style spending, but I think the way this sort of crystallizes out for Wolt is he is going to go check in on Brinley after everything that happened at DaiboCon, and he's going to do what he can to try and help Brinley. Maybe it's just uninstall the upgrades to the data surge Daibovice, or do what he can to help bring that back into control. So that's the being good aspect is helping out a friend in that way. And while they're tinkering, he's also going to do his in the lab tinkering stuff alongside it.
Nice. I think if we're cool with it, I'd like to see a very short scene between Brinley and Wolt. Maybe you're in a makerspace in Kindred or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think Brinley very hastily pulled the data surge Daibovice upgrade out of his Daibovice. And he kind of did it hastily. So he's maybe looking for your help to put it back together, maybe in a way that will work a little bit better. I mean, I don't know if it'll even work. We could just plug it back in, I guess. But then I'm gonna have Viperkin, and I don't think Viperkin likes me very much. Could we put part of it in? But then will Viperkin not like me either? Because I'm only doing a part. I don't know.
Well, let me take a look here. And Wolt pulls out his set of repair tools, a piece of gear that he has. Ooh. And sitting down, there's a lot of, once they've opened up the paneling, he's looking at the layers of soldering where the different connections have been slotted in the ports. And yeah, this is made-up technology. I'm going to make up an offer. Well, Bradley, it looks like I should be able to patch all this up so all the connections will be in place, everything like that. But it looks like there might also be space that I could add a damper in or something. Something that might help stem a bit of the flow of the data moving in between your normal Dibovice and this data surge portion. With that, it might help sort of limit the ability to data surge, which it'll always be undoable if, when you get older, you get to a point that you want to take another shot with Viperkin or heck, even Cobrakin. But for now, that might be the safest option for you, bud. What do you think?
I guess so. Do you think I should even have this?
Bradley.
I don't know, I feel like things just got really out of hand. I felt like ever since Adderkin was Viperkin, it felt like we were on a different page, and then Cobrakin happened, and I feel way in over my head, and I don't know, I don't even know if I'm a good Dibokin trainer, and if I should even have this thing.
Bradley, anyone can be a Dibokin trainer. Trying to measure how good of a trainer you are, that's just a load of nonsense. So long as you care about your Dibokin and the two of you go forward as partners, it doesn't matter how good or how strong or any of that. What matters is that you're spending time with something you care about, and both of you are learning and growing and just trying to push forward together.
I guess.
If you really want, I can totally uninstall this. But I think you do show a lot of potential, and you know what? At whatever pace is comfortable for you, I want to make sure you're having a fun time with Adderkin.
I guess I never thought of it that way. Having fun with a partner. I guess I always had it in my head I needed to be like this strong, cool, powerful Dibokin trainer like Olive.
Well, you're what, man? You're like 10? 11?
Yeah.
That's way too young for anyone to go out on a life-changing journey with nothing but an animal-type partner. That'd be wild. Dude, you've still got to hang out with your friends and your family and take it slow. Build it up from there. You've got so many years ahead of you, man.
I guess Olive's only 15, but she's the only one. I guess I do have some time. Thanks, Woldton.
No problem.
And it seems that Bradley has been reassured and reinvigorated by this talk. And together, the two of you get to work on fixing up Bradley's Dibovice to be just right. And you've got some upgrades that you'd like to do as well.
Yes, I spent the 1 style on being good to clear my remaining 2 trouble, which leaves me with 3 style to roll for upgrades, and I actually rolled them at the same time that everybody else did. The components that I earned are a lens, a disc, and 2 gems. I think with that, I am going to spend those 2 gems to add a power cell to my robot companion, so I'll have another kick to use in that turbo pool.
Nice.
So we find ourselves in a bit of a chaotic scene. It's almost, for a second, it's like we're back at Dibocon in the middle of Cobrakin's rampage. But that's not quite right. We are in a corridor, but it's not the halls of Popularia University. This is an older sort of stone architecture with some threads of silver filigree running through it. That just barely glint in the low light because it's very dark in here. There's some scattered debris and some smoke, and Maeveline Xandross picks herself up off of the ground and sort of coughs and staggers to her feet. She looks a lot like we know her now, other than a key detail, which is that she's not wearing her trademark sort of red-orange arborist robe, her signature device, her photonic jacket. She is wearing a big oversized cloak, but this one is jet black and covered in a variety of patches. And she, as I said, staggers to her feet and sort of looks around. Her head is swimming. She sees a silver orb sort of bounce and skitter down a hallway and then explode into a pulse of blue light that sweeps out, and she ducks around a corner just in time. And she looks around, panicked, and begins to compulsively reach for a patch right on the front, breast pocket area of that cloak, and is tapping at it instinctively. It's a little emblem, much like the one I described earlier on the bottom of her board, of two M's sort of stacked on top of one another. And she's tapping at that, and it illuminates softly. And she says, Mondo, where are you guys? Where did you go? But she doesn't get a response. And in her hand, she holds an ornate, just ancient-looking stone dagger.
You don't get a response from the patch on your cloak, but materializing out of the corner of your eye is this glowing purple figure. She looks vaguely Thenispartian once you focus in on her, but her outline, when she's just starting to materialize and out the corner of your eye, is rounded off the top, down the length of her body, and then sort of billowing out along the bottom, almost like a classic ghost shape. And this is, in fact, a Thenispartian ghost.
Ooh. Maeve jumps for a second, but then recognizes the figure before her and goes, Decembria, oh, thank God. Okay, where's everyone else? Where's Mondo? Where's Hans? I need to know. You guys, we got separated somewhere back there, and I can't. These corridors are a maze.
May, listen to me. We are safe, but you have to give me the dagger.
Well, if you're safe, then show me where to go. Can you take me through the wall like you just did? I've seen you do it with stuff before. Can you take me with you?
I can't. I'm sorry. I just came back for the dagger. Mondo says you have to give it to me.
Well, why didn't he say anything to me? I've been calling him.
May, I'm sorry. There's no time.
Okay, well, listen, stash it somewhere safe, and then you guys gotta get me out of here, right? Call me on the patch and tell me where to go, okay?
All right, give me the dagger.
And Maeve hesitates, but she can hear voices coming down the corridor, and she doesn't know what else to do, and she hands it over.
We'll do what we can. I'm sorry, May. And she phases away.
Maeve reaches for that same patch again and taps it, illuminating the patch on the front of her cloak. It says, "Okay, Mondo, I gave the thing to Decembria. I need you to get me out of here, man. I don't know where to go, and I can hear him coming. Mondo, you can't leave me in here." And I think it's at that moment that we cut back to Maeveline, right where we left her, sitting in her bunk in the Arborist Temple, sort of stewing and fiddling with the hem of her new arborist cloak, the bright red-orange colored cloak, in contrast to the one we saw in the flashback there. And the camera sort of zooms in on the hem of the coat where she's been sort of absent-mindedly fidgeting, and on the inside, in the lining of the coat, we see that same double M patch has been sewn into the inner lining where no one else can see it but her. And she fiddles with it there and sighs.
Tell me about this beat.
Yeah, this was the trait beat of Origin. So for 3 style, a flashback that shows a defining moment from your past, +1 trait. And I am going to take the grit trait of Walk It Off. You gain 1 extra slam box. Mark 1 style every time you take a slam. How could I not? How could I not take that? Best grit ability.
All right, and with that, we are going to go to the final scene of this episode. In an undecorated office, on an unknown floor of Kindred Multiversal Mega Tower, a gentleman sits at a desk, scrolling through images and videos on a tablet. His faded black hair is combed neatly to one side, resting gently atop his head. His oversized glasses exaggerate his small eyes and furrowed brow. He scrolls through the media with his middle finger, on which is adorned a flashy gold ring. Standing across from him on the other side of the desk, a woman waits, arms crossed nervously. She speaks. "You can see why I wanted to bring this to your attention." He doesn't look up. His eyes flicker to the social media handle and he raises an eyebrow. "Disaster? That's certainly apt. Although..." He bites his lip in thought as he looks up to his associate. "We could use this to our advantage." She leans forward, planting her hands on the desk, keeping her eyes on the wood grain pattern embedded into the plastic polymer surface. Tower relations are far too delicate for an unpredictable element like this to be thrown in the mix. The presence of this crew could undo everything we've worked towards. We can't do anything about their presence. They're already in the mix whether we like it or not. He sets down the tablet and leans back in his chair. It might just mean we need to act a little faster. She finally looks up. So what do we do? He shrugs. It's obvious. We get them on our side. There's another factor that complicates things. The woman picks up the tablet and navigates it deftly. She hands it back, revealing a video of a red robot strutting down a runway. The gentleman sits up fully, watching the video play in its entirety. Once it stops, the room is silent for a moment. Finally, he speaks. Does he remember? I don't know. She takes the tablet back and opens a file. It looks like this crew has a long-term hold on him. Then we need to make sure his loyalties are in the right place. His eyes drop to a line item on the file. It looks like he has a debt to pay.